I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here inside the Hub Culture studio with Lucian Tarnowski. Now, this is our 14th interview. Can't quite believe it.
Yeah.
The hair has changed. We've gained a hat. The good thing is that neither of us have actually aged at all, right?
Exactly. We're paused outside of time.
Exactly. Founding creator of United Planet. Tell me, give us an update, first of all, on United Planet. And I know that you're gamifying the future world we want to be. Tell us what that looks like.
Sure. So the Up game, it's a time-traveling immersive reality game where we bring leaders, creators, change makers, artists, musicians into the future where we are living in a world that's thriving. So it's essentially, we go into the next system, and what we do is we apply our collective intelligence through play and creativity. We apply our collective intelligence to develop the stories as to how we got there. And then from the stories, we reverse engineer the strategies. And from the strategies, we tie funding milestones from the future. So we're essentially turning the direction of money from going from the present moment towards the future to coming from the future, pulling the present towards it. And it's working beautifully.
Okay, so I want to hear, you've traveled back in time to be with us here, Lucian. So tell us some of those stories from the future, how they've played out, and then how we're now funding to get there.
Yeah, so the way the game works is we create a mythology around the elements. So we have the air team, which is all about all life thriving. So it's things like health and well-being, sustainable food, unleashing potential. Then we have the water team, which is all about the return to communities and thriving communities. It's things like wealthy commons, community abundance, regenerative cities. And then we go to the fire team, which creates a mythology around the transformation of society, culture, and the economy. And then we have the Earth team, which is all about the planetary age, living within planetary boundaries. It's things like planetary health, land stewardship, ocean stewardship. So each of those teams creates a mythology from a time outside of time, where we've created this planetary civilization called the United Planet. And then that's where we go and reverse engineer the funding milestones. So we don't pay for competition, is the notion. It's a big idea. It's like, what if we could move $6 trillion to, instead of coming from now towards achieving the SDGs, that's 10% of the cost of the SDGs.
Right.
What if we could start a fund that was like a baby between smart contracts and social impact bonds, coming from the future to pull the transformation that we need that way?
So put some flesh around that. Just give me an example. You've told me about the different pillars, but tell me one story about how we're going to get to this world that we want.
Yeah, so my favorite story is called the planetary hat trick. It's it's my trick to get three in. So it's three major goals, planetary goals. One is the Gaian language. So in the game, we initiate players as Gaians. We have a Gaian oath that goes like, we are a united planet. I am Gaian. On my honor, I commit to a thriving civilization in harmony with all life. We've gone further, and we've broken what we call the Gaian barrier. So now we aren't limited to only communicate with humans. We can actually communicate with the whales and the dolphins, and we've decoded an understanding of language. That's number one. Number two is
broken down the Tower of Babel.
The return to before the Tower of Babel. It's a perfect myth. The second thing is what Buckminster Fuller called the world game. We've gamified every aspect of how we transform society. So we've created incentives to enable anyone that wants to be part of a positive future, wants to be part of a world where we're no longer conquered by dystopia. And then the third thing is celebration. So we throw parties to celebrate that which we're going to do, which originated with the moonshot party when JFK gave his famous speech. He said by the end of the decade, we're going to put a man on the moon and bring it safely back to Earth. James Webb responded to that. He ran NASA through the Apollo programs. And in 1962, he threw a party to celebrate landing on the moon.
Right.
And so what we've been doing is throwing the celebrations of that which we're here to do, because right now the incremental innovations that we're driving aren't enough. We need to go quantum. We need to go step changing. And so that's where the Up game looks at how do we architect those kind of solutions, and how do we celebrate the stories and the storytellers and create culture around that planetary civilization.
I love it, Lucian. Thank you very much for coming to us from the future back to somewhere in the present, somewhere along the blockchain. We look forward to staying in touch for our 15th, 14th, 15th, and even beyond.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and I'm Edie Lush.